So I wanted to come on here and give another Amber Guyger trial update. And as you can see, this time you don't see Amber Guyger's picture up here because even though she's the focal point of this trial, she's not going to be the focal point of this story. But before I get into this individual, one of the things I saw today, one of my subscribers sent me a video that had Botham John's neighbor up on the stand, and he was basically giving his testimony. And if you watch it, it's very sad to watch. Like, he literally broke down in tears right there on the stand. Like, he was talking about his neighbor in such good taste for a guy that he barely knew. He just said that this guy loved to wake up in the morning just singing, and he could hear this guy singing from his apartment, just because like he felt good that day. Like people like to sing or do whatever it is, I guess, their morning rituals before they go out about their day. And he just basically said that's what he's going to remember him by, in him singing. And he says that it's kind of weird now not hearing him sing from his apartment anymore. And then after he said that, he just kind of broke down in tears right there on the stand. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's get into this fool right here. Now, I have forgot all about this idiot, this coon right here, whose name is David Armstrong. He's a part of the Texas Rangers. He was one of the ones that was on the side instantly of Amber Guyger last year when she committed that crime, when she committed murder. And his stance has not changed since, because he was put on the stand today and he still stands by what he said over a year ago. And he said that he does not believe that Amber Guyger committed a crime when she shot and killed Botham John. Let me go ahead and read this article. It says the lead investigator of the case for the Texas Rangers took the stand Wednesday during the murder trial of Amber Guyger and described how the layout of her apartment complex could be seen as confusing. Trooper David Armstrong, ironically his name is David and he's a Texas Ranger, like that coon David Clark who used to be the sheriff for Milwaukee. It also said that he doesn't believe the former Dallas officer committed a crime when she shot and killed Botham. Judge right here, I'm just loving her. I'm just loving every move that she's making right now. I'm glad that the jury did not hear that, because his statement sounds very biased. Like, it comes off as he's instantly on her side. Like, goddamn. He literally threw Botham John and his entire family under the bus with that, saying, I don't believe that she committed a crime, even though she went to his apartment and shot and killed him in his apartment. She was the intruder. She is the murderer. It says, although Armstrong is technically a prosecution witness, he supported defense claims that the former Dallas officer could have easily been confused about the layout of the South Side flats where the shooting took place. She wasn't confused about shit. She knew exactly where she was going. Armstrong testified that he did a survey of tenants at the apartment complex where Guyger and John lived, and that found that about 23% of the tenants had accidentally walked into the wrong apartment because of the layout. He confirmed that the hallways of the complex are similar, as well as the parking garage. Well, guess what, David Armstrong? If 23% of those people had walked into various wrong complexes, I'm willing to bet that of those 23%, none of the people's apartments they walked into, the residents who actually lived there, died from a gunshot wound. Amber Guyger, however, walked into the wrong apartment and did kill somebody. Explain that. There is an open air side to the garage of the 4th level where Guyger parked that September 6, 2018 evening, but she had backed her pickup truck into the parking space. Armstrong also told the jury that John's door was poorly installed and often would not close all the way. The jury was shown videos that supported his claim. On multiple occasions, the door would close all the way, and the door would also not completely close depending on the distance. And we were just letting go of the door, not using any force, and sometimes it would close all the way, sometimes it wouldn't, depending on the distance. Armstrong later said that while the jury wasn't present, that he didn't believe Guyger committed a crime and that her actions were consistent with her story. He said it was a reasonable perception that Guyger saw John as an intruder. Earlier in the morning, before Armstrong took the stand, one of the jurors had disclosed that they once had a professional relationship with a trooper who was testifying. After being questioned by the judge and attorneys, that juror was allowed to remain on the panel. Well, that's interesting, because I would have thought they would have removed him because of conflict of interest. Late Wednesday afternoon, the jury saw graphic autopsy photos of Botham John. A photo of the gun used was offered as evidence, as well as another of Guyger taken off in her uniform after the shooting. Prosecutors pointed out that she had a taser on her belt in addition to the gun, but she went for the gun, like many of them tend to do. And then they'll cry and say, oh, but I thought it was my gun. Listen, a taser and a gun hold differently in your hands. Like, you should know the difference between a taser and a handgun. And she knew the difference. She knew what she was grabbing for. That's where this bitch better not walk. I want their case to be so sloppy that they literally fold and concede and say, you know what, just lock her up. Just lock her up. But as for this fool right here, fuck him. Point blank, period. He jumped out the window, literally coming to her defense, saying, I don't believe she committed a crime. Yes, she did. Breaking and entering is definitely a crime. Shooting an unarmed man inside of his apartment, definitely a crime. Not even administering CPR, even though she was qualified to do so. She basically let that man die. Because imagine all the minutes that was spent between the time she shot him and killed him and the time she had to get on the phone and give her best act to medical personnel, to the time it took them to get there, to the time it took them to get to his apartment. That was a lot of time. That was a lot of time that was wasted. She let him die. Point blank, period. I don't give a damn what anybody says, especially not this fool on the screen. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments, and I'll talk to you in the next one.